जब भी आप कोई एडवर्टाइजमेंट न्यूज़पेपर अखबार में या टेलीविजन में देखते हो, सपोज करो आप टेलीविजन देख रहे हो, आप पहले आएगा ब्लैंक स्क्रीन हो जाएगा, आप एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट देखने वाले हो, फिर ऐड आता है, ऐसा नहीं आता ना? तो सीवी में सीवी क्यों लिखते हो? राइट what you're trying to sell about yourself, and what you're trying to sell, then have a photograph, a name, and then an executive summary. That is what I'm saying, self-marketing. So right from children to big guys, I've created some campaigns for politicians also. I think it sells when you sell yourself. And the selling starts with you. Charity begins at home. That is very necessary. And startups, it's very important to be able to sell whatever is sellable. अरे गाड़ी आपने खरीदी, सेकेंड हैंड खरीदी, फिएट खरीदी, जो कि हर 2 मिनट में रुक के चल जाती है, फिर भी मैं सर्वाइव कर रहा हूं. Why? Because I am in love with this. So you can create a story around it. Because if you don't have anything to speak about, just look around yourself. You'll find 10 things to talk about yourself. That is what is required, because relationship building is about communications, right? And available channels are there. But every channel has its own flavor. Facebook has a different flavor, LinkedIn has a different flavor. Learn which flavor. Everything available on Google, Devta. So any questions? I can go on till tomorrow. That's me. So any questions? So please start marketing about yourself, about brand conventions, about eye-opener, the world it is. Over to the next speaker.
Speaking, and so do we love hearing you, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Kapil Goyal. He is a partner in J. Mandal and Company, and he's currently heading the internal audit and advisory division of the firm. Mr. Goyal will be speaking on cost optimization and financial reporting techniques. Over to Mr. Goyal.
Everybody, for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Although my topic is a little bit technical, but I would like to add few examples to make it interesting and practical, because ultimately the thoughts should be such which can be exercised into practical world. So in fact, I am happy to see a small child out here, because generally in such a seminar you hardly find a child as an audience, but I can correlate her presence with the topic here, like it is on the startup. So ultimately the startup is something who is actually opening up himself or herself to the world. So there are many errors, there are many faults which a startup commits. Might be due to experience issues, or might be due to the hit and trial errors which a startup commits. So ultimately, the startup needs to be prepared about how they have to run their show, which all cost and which all financial reporting a startup has to do, so that he can grow just like a child. A child commits error, like for a child, like buying a chocolate for 100 rupees is nothing. He can just rely on his parent to just buy him or her a chocolate, which might be an expensive one. So just like a child, the startup needs to be cautioned enough to incur the expenses in such a manner that it serves the utility. The expense should not be such which has been incurred out of a gut feel or out of a sort of a hit and trial error, because for a child, he has got many parents who can support him. But for a startup, a person who has left his job or who has left a career, a booming career, might be if somebody works for a company, he can earn lakhs of rupees. But he is merely sacrificing his life, the precious moments of 10, 20, 10, 15 years of his youth into running a startup. So the cost itself is a very significant thing, which I think some of the speakers might have touched upon this issue, but I will take it forward. So I will start with my presentation. Just a second. So I also have bit of experience in running show, and we are doing it for the past 5 years. So hopefully we are managing the cost side. That's why we have sustained in this business. Otherwise, okay, thank you. It becomes difficult to run for long. So if I start with the subject, mainly why the cost is important to manage. Because in the changing world, you don't know about the uncertain environment which is always there. There are many disruptions that comes into the picture. You don't know about what the competition is doing, is thinking, or where the things might go wrong. So it is always better to start with caution and to move in that direction. So the massive disruption that is happening, and you cannot sustain with only the marginal savings. You need to have a dedicated team or dedicated efforts to save, so that every penny saved is penny earned. In startups, like sometimes the revenue growth is not visible at the start. So what is visible is the cost. So for me, the revenue is also important, and the management of cost should also be there, because that is something which you can control. The market side is uncertain, but the cost side you can manage through certain efforts. So the marginal savings can no longer guarantee you the survival. It should be substantial. And you have to pinpoint the resources and sharpen the operational capabilities in a way that set the pace in a fast marketplace, evolving marketplace. So the challenges, I'll talk about the startups. The startups, the main focus should not be starting up. It should be continuing in an upper way and ending in an upper way. That should be the objective of the startup, because it's always easy to start something with the right mindsets, but to remain on that mindset and to remain continuing until the end, just like Infosys was a startup sometimes, and now they are in such a way that the team has grown substantially, and they are helping the business in a very big way. So I'll start with the challenges in the cost optimization. The first challenge comes with the initial cost that are there, which may include the marketing cost. If the startup is incurring huge cost on marketing, be it digital marketing or be it the offline mode, they are taking. The salaries, because ultimately the salaries of the staff, you cannot have everything done through your own team. You have to have your separate team who can be hired from very big companies, because you need to have good minds working with you, otherwise you cannot sustain. So the salary is something which pose a great difficulty in managing the show if the revenues are not in line. Investment in technology and machineries. In case you are a service company, then you have to invest in technology a lot, and in case you are a production company, then you cannot sustain without having investment in machineries. So these are the initial costs which have to be there, but pose a great challenge in managing the site. Then some of the costs are fixed and cannot be avoided. You need to have the cost. So by cost optimization, I'm not saying that you should not incur the cost. It is actually incurring the cost with the right mindset and with the right approach. The priority isn't the cost you cut, but you need to have a strategic cost reduction where your customers do not suffer, where the business do not suffer, but you optimize the cost in such a way which can handle the profitability. So that is the next challenge which is being posed, how to do a strategic cost reduction. Then you have to have face the tight margins. So in case in an industry where margins are high, you cannot sit at peace just by having the good margins, because margins can shrink anytime. There can be a new technology that can come in. There can be a new competition, just like Airtel and Reliance. I can correlate that Airtel was sitting at a very comfortable position before the Reliance Jio came in. So they have ultimately changed the entire dynamics of the market. So you cannot sit at peace with the margin side. So the tight margins are also one of the concerns, so that you can have the cost optimized. And sometimes within the organization, you face few challenges in resistance as far as the team is concerned, when you cannot say that I am cutting a marketing expense without cutting the other expenses, like in finance or IT. So that is some of the things that you have to manage. Within the organization, you have to see the resistance thing, and then you can manage. So these are the challenges which are there. As far as the strategy in which or by which you can optimize the cost, is the one is about the clear strategy. The strategy should be something which is set at the right time and with the right people. Because without a strategy, you cannot control the cost. So once you have decided to have your business, be it production or be it service, then you have to see and you have to plan to achieve that strategy in terms of numbers of units to be sold, or in terms of the services you have to offer in the market. Because without that, you cannot seek the cost part. So after strategizing, you need to have to align cost with that strategy. You have to prepare some sort of a rough working where you can seek that how much cost you need to incur to actually get to that strategy, get to that level. So the second part of by which you can do the cost optimization is by aligning the cost to the strategy. Digital transformation, the earlier speaker told a lot about the manner in which you can do the marketing through digital modes. So that is one of the area, but again, it's a double sword. If you cannot or will not able to manage the digital marketing, then the cost of the marketing is huge, and a single negative comment might damage your entire reputation. So that is the one which should be managed very well, and you should be creative. You can have analytical softwares where you can at least control you can see that where is your competition going or where is your customer heading. So that's one by which you can optimize the cost. Although the pay-per-click or the SEO, they are coming, but ultimately the cost part, you have to see with the revenue part. Then only you can optimize the cost. You have to be a role model. You cannot say your employees to optimize the cost unless you are cost savvy. If the employees can see or can visualize that you are incurring cost in your own life, you are incurring cost in your own for your own benefits, and say to them that you have to optimize the cost, then in my sense it is not the right motive. You have to show the employees being a leader in managing cost, be it your personal expenses or be it your official expenses. You have to control the cost in your own sense. Then only you can guide the team to control the cost. You have to incentivize the employees or the right thinkers with you by rewards or by appreciation or by certification, so that they inculcate that sense that, yeah, they are being rewarded. Because every small reward creates a lasting impression in the employees. So that's some of the areas by which you can optimize the cost. These are the few of the modes or the areas where you generally incur the cost. The moment you decide to open a startup, you need to have a place. Because without place, there is no way you can run the show. So the point comes, like, can it be a residential place, your home, your friend's place, might be he's having some space that is available, or your own space in some commercial building. So this decision is a very tough decision for a startup, because when I started my startup way back in 2007, so that was managed through a residential area where I could control the cost. But this decision you have to take in terms of the size of the team which you can manage or which are projected, and the cost part. Because it's a long-term call. Property you cannot just take and leave. you have to have a minimum commitment of 2 years, 4 years, 5 years if it's in commercial place. So you have to see the business side, you have to see the convenience of the employees, you have to see the cost part, and overall the cost to the revenue ratio. The cost is not an issue if you have revenues. Ultimately, we are discussing this this topic for the purpose of mainly optimizing cost, but it is relevant only when you have very limited revenues. In case, if you read many newspapers, then many of the startups are mainly leased with funds. They are being funded by many big private equity funders. So they start putting the you can say the focus on the revenue side without seeing the cost part, and that is the reason why they are into losses. And for the number of years they run into losses. And as the stats are concerned, out of the 10 startups, 7 or 8 fails. So that is one of the reason, because they keep on adding the numbers, they keep on adding the volumes without seeing the profit and loss account. Because being a finance person, my first focus is on the P&L and the futuristic, you can say, projections of that business. So sometimes I feel that the startups lacks in that. When they start doing the business, they concentrate on the funding side, how much funds they are getting. As the earlier speakers told us about how to get the funds, the focus and the marketing side. But till the time you are funded, you are okay, satisfied. But the moment the fund gets stopped, then the main issue comes. So this sense of cost optimization should come right from the day one. Because when you have funds, there is no issue. But the moment you are left with no funds, then you cannot start that practice. So it has to start from the day one. So the property and team is the one. You have to set a good team on whom you can rely, because it's very easy to hire a person, fire a person. You have to just give a 3 months notice or 1 month notice to fire the guy, but it creates a negative image in the mind of the others. Because when you fire somebody, then the negativity side of the business starts. He keeps on writing or telling bad about you. Might be if he joins some competition, he can pass the secrets or the business model of your company. So you have to have a very good team, and you have to manage their salaries also. So that's one of the areas in which you have to focus. Just you have some funds and you can hire the team shouldn't mean that you can hire, because you should hire because you have to see their career plans also. So this is one. Then you have to invest in your digital marketing, in robotics, in machine learning, and in your digital marketing. So you have to see the strategy aligned with the cost of digital marketing. That will you be able to use it as a tool, or will you be able to use it as a promotional activity, which should be long term and which should be cost optimized. So this is the next point. Then you have to see the production and distribution cost. You have to manage well in terms of your raw material, in terms of your transportation cost, in terms of your distribution cost, packaging cost. So you have to negotiate well with the vendors. In case you get to know at what cost the other startup is purchasing. So that could be a sort of a benchmark rate on which you can start and we can manage. So packaging, distribution, and production cost plays a very important role as far as the cost is concerned. Then you have operational and service cost, be it maintenance cost or be it your running cost of the business. So that plays a very important role. But the earlier 3 costs are more or less predominant in every business. So in case you have to see what percentage of the cost contributes to the revenues, or how much percentage the cost is to the revenue, so that the cost which you can curtail, be it fixed or be it variable, that should be your first area in which you can set the tone. and you have to have the team with you so that they can plan accordingly. So that was my first session on cost optimization, and the cost cannot be optimized until and unless it is reported well. You have to have a good reporting system, then only you can optimize the cost. Because if you rely on a bad data or the data which is not realistic, you cannot control the cost. So the time which you involve, which you involve in the manner in which you can optimize the cost, the same kind of a time you should involve in getting the right MIS, right reporting standards. Because in case you are incurring the cost, or in case you are getting the revenue, leads, everything, without a good report, you cannot see after 2 years down the line what you have earned and what you have lost. So ultimately, it is not the bank balance that counts. It is always the good reporting standards that should be, that creates a good ethics in terms of you as a startup, or in terms of the good private equity funder. Because whoever comes after few months or few years, he or she, they starts with the reporting standards you have and the transparency in it. The numbers should be transparent so that any outsider can rely on those numbers in case you have all the reports in line. So the next topic is the financial reporting techniques, which should be there as you can say supportive to the cost and revenues. Because the financial reporting will include your numbers, be it the hard code numbers, your volume of business, your production plans, or your service clientele. So the numbers will be based on your financial as well as non-financial data. Because the non-financial data will impact your financial data. So both the numbers will come, and you need to have a very good reporting technique started from the first day you start your startup, so that you can manage it well. So that's a must for a strategic decision. Everybody is capable enough to work in any good company. So sometimes we miss on calculating our own cost, because we take it for granted that we as an entrepreneur don't have any cost. We are very futuristic in terms of the business. We are very futuristic in terms of the value we are creating for the world. Maybe we are passionate, or maybe we want to commercialize it, but ultimately there is a cost to everything. So whenever you are optimizing the cost, so the cost should include the cost to be paid to the outsiders as well as to yourself, because ultimately it counts. So you have to have a strategic decision must for reporting, where you control or you take your own cost as well as cost you have to pay to the outside team, or for property or for other verticals. So that's a must. Without that you cannot start. Then the financial reporting is based on data and comparisons. You need to have a good data. Without that you cannot do the financial reporting, because financial reporting can be of present, of the past, or of the future. So the data has to be correct, data has to be complete, and there has to be a sense in it. You have to have a comparison also among the data. Like if one data clashes with the other, you need to know the reasons of it. So if some startup is a registered company, you can take the competition data from the registrar of company side also, because every company is obliged to upload their financials every year. So when you are doing a startup, you should see or seek the costing and the revenues of your competition as well. Might be they are different in size, but the variable cost and the fixed cost you can judge out of their operations. So there should be a comparison among your cost heads and comparison of your competition, what they are doing. Then your reporting should be a long-term objective. You should not report something, or should not start some habit of reporting just for a short-term purpose, because whatever standards you follow now or follow at the start should be as a practice, be a long-term standards. Then only the data will serve the purpose. The more historical the data is, the more beneficial it would be for you. Because the moment you keep on changing the formats, or the moment you keep on changing the variables, the data becomes meaningless, because you cannot compare that data with the previous financials. So ultimately, the data, the reports formats should be designed in such a manner that it serves the long-term purpose. That should be the objective at the time of setting the financial reporting standards. It is something which is being relied by banks for short-term or long-term funding, which is a bit easy. The angel investors and the private equity funds, which is a difficult route because you need to convince them a lot. You need to have a long-term strategy, and you have to be a disruptor. Then only you can get an angel or private equity funder with you. So the reporting should be such that it should be relied by outside parties, outside funders on you. So these are some of the important benefits of our reporting. So that should be set right at the start. These are some of the techniques or some of the things you should do when you are running your startup. Because in case you miss out with some of the thing, then the half-cooked meal or a half constructed building will not serve a purpose. In a building, you have to have all the silos, all the compartments. In a meal, you need to have all the ingredients. Then only the meal will become tasty. So you need to have all these reports ready with you at the time of starting the business, or it's to be reviewed during the year, and then it has to be compared with your budgets. So the first one is the startup budget. You need to have a budget, then only you can proceed in that direction. If we wake up in the morning and if we don't know like where we have to go in the morning, then we'll end up going nowhere, or we'll end up wasting our time. So startup, you need to have a vision of, let's say, between 1 to 3 years time, and then it's a short-term vision. Then you can have a mid-term vision, which ranges between 3 to 5 years, and then a long-term vision, which is between 5 to 25 years. So, or 20 years or 15 years, because India these days, the technology keeps on changing, the tastes keep on changing, market keeps on changing, so you cannot vision for a longer period in case you have doing a startup. But generally, the budget you have to have at the start of the things. Then you have to have a cost spreadsheet which talks about all the fixed and the variable costs you need to incur to make the vision or the startup business looks more practical and achievable. So this cost, in fact, I have very less time, so I cannot show you the formats because we are doing work with startups, so we have developed that. So the cost worksheet should be flexible enough as per your business and your objectives. It should contain all the links and formulas to keep changing with the changing times. It is not a rigid budget. Every 3 months or 6 months time, you need to have a forecast, reforecast. Then only it will serve the purpose. You have to have a break-even analysis. This is required to sustain, because till the time funding or you have the funds with you, it's manageable to run the show. But after a certain point of time, managing cost becomes a tension. And once you change the focus, as some of the speaker told about the focus, if your focus is not on the business, but to manage the funds, how to pay the salaries, how to pay for the rents, or how to pay for other travel or marketing, then your focus gets shifted. And the moment it gets shifted, your startup becomes a problem to you. So you need to have a very good break-even analysis. The time when you should be break-even, you should be at at par with the revenues, with the cost. And that moment is the life-changing moment, because from that moment you start, if you work right, then you start doing profits. So if a funder or a private fund invests in a loss-making business, then he will take you for granted. He will do the valuation as per his team. You don't have a say in that. But if you turn the table, and if you becomes a profitable startup, and then you approach them, then the valuation and the terms will be commanded by you, not by him. So you need to have a break-even analysis. You need to have a very good daily or weekly MIS from your team. The inputs should be fed by all the team members who are in charge of the startups, or your HOD, head of the department, who has to send you a MIS which is reliable, which is dependable, and which is correct. So it should contain all the features, all the data inputs, and it should be a continuing thing. It should not be something that you take it in 1 month and you leave it in for the next 3 months. The data punching, the data discussion should be continuous, spontaneous. You have to have a very good SOP, standard operating procedures, by which you mention all these things so that you don't skip. Because generally in a startup, it's one person, as I have seen with myself, one person is the HR head also, one person is the finance head also, that same person is the finance head, HR head, marketing head, operations head, everything is there. So it's you can say, blend of all the roles. So it's better if you are playing all these roles to have a good MIS, so that at some point of time you sit and you see the results, whether they are matching with the strategy or not. So dashboarding and MIS. Now there are very good tools available in Excel, so where you can get a good dashboard available to you, which will give you a snapshot about what you have earned, what you have lost, and where you are heading. So that's one of the things we should have. Then you should have a provisional as well as projected financial statements, which includes your balance sheet, your profit and loss account, and your cash flow. So it will give you, it is always provisional, like for the next 6 months, 1 year, or the financial statements till date. It can be historical also. So that way you have to see the data, the MIS, to be correlated with the financial statements, because the moment you start your discussions with the private equity companies or with the angel investors, the first thing they will ask you about the statements. It's not something which is a ceremonious kind of a thing where you call your auditors to sign the balance sheet which you have done. It is not for external purposes. First objective is to know where you are heading, and then it will serve your all the purposes, be it internal or be it external. So these were some of the reports which you should plan. I would suggest at the start of your business, but in case you have missed, then there is no time. You can say no good time to start something good. So you can start it from tomorrow also, so that you know where the startup is being headed. So that was all from my side. I've tried to cover all the areas, but in case I've left somebody, forgive me. And ultimately, the cost is a very dynamic subject. You don't know which cost or which government action, like GST. Everybody never expected that the time when it came was the right time or not. Like the earlier, the timing was an issue. Then the provisions, when it came, the provisions became an issue. And till date, the businesses are struggling with this subject. So you don't know which cost or which tax will hit you. So it's always better to plan till the time you can, or the future which you can foresee, and prepare for that, so that you don't miss out on either the cost or the revenues part. Revenues are important, but it is an external phenomena. Revenue is dependent upon customers, but cost it is dependent upon you. You can dictate, you can control, and you can optimize it. So I would suggest to start well within your home. Then you should go to the outside world about your business. In case you can manage your costs and reporting well, then there is no chance else to succeed. That's all from my side. And in case somebody is having question, it's welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Actually, it was just a thumb rule which I had heard that, you know, if your revenue, if your cost is more than 50% of your revenue, only then you focus on your cost. Otherwise, you focus on your, you know, increasing your revenue. If your cost exceeds 50% of your revenue, then you focus on reducing your cost. However, if your cost is less than 50% of your revenue,
I understood.
increasing your revenue. Is that correct? That's thumb rule?
Actually, it's partially correct because I started my discussion with the caveat that cost becomes an issue when you don't have revenues. Till the time you are sitting on a huge pile of cash, like as you are being funded by somebody, it is not an issue to you. Fine. Or if you are having the cost less than 50% of your revenues. But it's incorrect in the sense that you don't know that whether it should be 50%, whether it can be curtailed to 40%, 30%, or what your competition is doing. Like it's 50% because your revenue is 200%. Like it 50% means I have 50 rupees of cost and 100 rupees of revenue. Fine. I have, if I don't control that 50 rupees now, and I don't have assurance that the 100 rupees will remain 100 or not, because you can have a neighbor who is selling that thing at 80 rupees. So the moment he does it at 80, your cost becomes more than 50% of the revenues because you have to reduce the price if you remain competitive. So this percentage is very relative, and you have to see the substance of the cost rather than the actual percentage based on the market standards, because it's not certain that you can be having the same sort of revenues, and the cost dependent on the revenues means you are internally dependent on some outside factor or variable which is not in your control. So it's like partially correct, and I would advise you to concentrate on the cost rather than the percentage. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to India's first corporate news channel. We invite interviews, articles, press releases from your organization. Visit our portal www.indianconventions.com. Thank you.